Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Blackout Gaming TV. The votes have been counted and the results are in, and we know who are the winners of the Highlander Season 12 Premiership Awards. And this is going to be the show where you're going to find out who has won. Obviously, the season is over, but we've got ourselves a collection of people to chew over the fat and see whether your nominations and your votes were actually correct with our estimations. I'm CeeJaey, and I'll be your host tonight. Unfortunately, my webcam's not working, so you can just imagine what I look like. But I'm also representing Strong Opinions, and I'll be joined by some lovely gentlemen from various teams. If you want to give us a cheeky wave, lads, when I mention your names. We've got Clark from SCCK. We have got Porky from Fail Esports. We have Synrise from Tourette's Chess Club. We have Chef from Budget Toucans. And last but not least, sneaking in the dark, we have our very own head admin, Stinson Out, to tell us who has won the awards. So obviously season 12 finished, and it was a bit of a, you could say, a surprise, as Strong Opinions were dethroned. Could not manage 4 in a row, and it was SCK who went on to win Chess Club, rounding off the playoff places. And I'm going to head straight over to Clark and say, did the season go as you expected? Did you think that was the way everything was going to pan out when we started season 12?
We were confident going into the season, and but we didn't expect to win every game 6-0 for sure and have a perfect season. But we were happy that we did, and hopefully we can repeat it again next season.
So you talk about next season already. You're going to be back for season 13 to defend your title?
Yes, we will be coming back into the next season, and I think we're just going to make one change, one unfortunate change to the roster, but that's about it.
I mean, you can't say one unfortunate change and then leave it at that. This is the show for news. You got to tell us what's going to happen. Come on.
Well, unfortunately, Dima will not be playing with us anymore, which is a huge loss to the team because he's played with us for more than a year. But we have a new soldier coming in, the big old Jackie Lex, going to play with us next season. So we're happy we could get him. So yeah, that's the only change we have at this moment, and possibly it will stay that way.
Okay, that's interesting. So season 13 defending champs will have one change to their roster. I'm not going to talk to myself. Strong Opinions, we didn't win. That's it. End of. End of. That's fine. But we'll move on to the team that finished third, which was Tourette's Chess Club, and that was Synrise. And I don't want to ask the same question, but kind of, what was your feeling across the season? Because I know you guys didn't scrim very much. I know maybe the preparation wasn't as expected, but coming into the season, did you think third would be where you'd finish, or did you think you could get something more?
No, we went for a top 2. Tried to get into the finals for once, like really the finals this time, but I mean, the two teams, Strong Opinions and Super Dickman, they were both too strong for us. And we never really scrimmed, so we deserved third spot, I think.
Is there anything you would have changed? I mean, aside from the obvious
a solid
practice
roster, maybe, yeah.
So do you feel it was the roster issues that kind of hampered you?
Yeah,
this season?
I don't think. I think only me and Chikabo, we played all the games, and for the rest, we always had at least 1 or 2 mercs. So that's frustrating to play.
I was there at the interview of the semi-final, so maybe this is a bit of a redundant question, especially now that Clark has talked about Jackie Legs. But what's the future for Chess Club, and if you guys aren't continuing under the Chess Club franchise, what's do you know the future of yourself or any of the players?
For the rest of the players, I can't tell. I think Fons is done with Highlander in general. Well, Jackie joined Super Dickman. For the rest, I don't know. For myself, I'm still figuring out if I'm gonna play next season. I'm definitely gonna sub for a team, I think, but I don't know if I'm gonna main. Depends on my work. Yeah. For the rest, we are dead. Yeah, Chet is dead, I think.
Oh dear. So well, that's fine. I mean, Chess Club's like, when there was something I didn't mention, I think last season in the awards show, and I believe it's that Chess Club have beaten Hypanda's record. You have now it's season 12. So Hypanda had the record of being in the top 3, I think it was 5 or 6 seasons, and Chess Club now have beaten that. after the past 2 seasons. So under the Tourette's Chess Club banner, they are now the kind of, you could say, the most consistent team, because they've always finished in the top 3 in every season they've played, and more times than anyone else. So that's something for you to be proud of.
Yeah, I'm happy to be a part of that legacy. So
yeah. Okay, cool. So we're going to move down to the team that was kind of, I don't know, the middling team, because with the way that it looks like the table is, they didn't get into the playoffs, but they also didn't get relegated. So it's kind of just, a nice chilled out season. Porky, how do you feel about Failer's performance? Are you on the side of being happy you didn't get relegated, or are you on the side of disappointed you didn't get playoffs?
I don't think we're disappointed we didn't get playoffs. Like, the gap between us and the top teams was quite big. So, like, 4th's decent. We stayed in Prem, so that's the main thing.
So, like, for the future, is the future now to build upon that? Like, you've now guaranteed your Prem spot as long as you don't change your roster. Is playoffs now a big target for you?
Hopefully, yeah. But I know there is roster changes, but I don't know how many there's going to be. But hopefully there's not going to be too many. So, yeah, playoffs is definitely the next step up.
The big question is, are you staying on the roster?
Yes.
That's good. That's a good start. Can you give us any details on to who's changing?
Well, Bloodless and Menti are reforming the Weeb team. So we've got Dreamy stepping up to Scout, but we don't know who's going to play Soldier yet. And then Mars isn't playing, so we got a new Heavy and a new Spy, probably.
Okay, so quite a few changes. Did you feel that the shorter season did you guys any favors, or do you think if it had been an 8-team season and the top 4 got into playoffs, like we had a double elimination bracket in season 11, under that format, do you think you would have got into playoffs? Do you feel maybe a bit cheated by the shorter season?
Not really. Like, maybe we would have made playoffs, but we still wouldn't have got any further because we would have still lost to SO and SECK. So, and maybe had a close game against Chess.
That's a fair and honest assessment. So yeah, I appreciate that. Well done for your performance this season. I do have to say, your final swan song of the season, murking for Chess Club in the semi-final. That was a nice personal thing for you, I guess. But we'll talk to one of the teams now. Chef, I don't know how to start this because I'm not sure if technically you're relegated or you have to play the playoffs or how it works. But season 11, you guys went from finishing third in the regular season. Excuse me. So basically being a playoff team to finishing sort of second from bottom. Was that how you felt the season would go, or was there just kind of hiccups along the way?
At the end of season 11, there was we knew that we were going to be losing people, so we kind of had to scramble to try and find people that would be able to fill the spots, and I think we were missing a pyro and medic, and it was kind of hard to find people for those classes at that time. And so we picked up people, and we came into season 12 with a roster that we knew wasn't going to be as good as last season, so we weren't expecting to do as well. But it's just unfortunate that we got relegated. Well, I don't even know if we are relegated, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure more will be revealed as we get closer to season 13. But did you kind of change your assessments at the start of the season? After all of the roster changes, did you see, okay, maybe we'll have to be more realistic with our expectations, or was it kind of something you had to assess as you went along season 12?
I guess during the first week, because we took we won that one pretty well. It was against the Mall Cops team. After that game, I felt it might not be that bad. We might end up doing just as good, but eventually it just the dream became a thing. We're not going to make it. Probably get demoted, and then we had our last week where it was a bit of a shambles. I couldn't play, and we had to scramble to find last minute scrims and stuff like that. The whole season was just a massive mess for us. There was at least 2 weeks in that season where we had to play an official 2 days after the previous one because of scheduling and stuff.
Yeah, there was 1 week where you guys had to play officials pretty much back to back, I remember. So looking towards the future, are you guys sticking together, and are there any changes? Are any players leaving, coming in, coming back, or anything like that?
Well, we've had to say goodbye to our friend Mackie recently, who is a very good person, but he hasn't been having too much fun with the game recently, as we've been trying to scrim again, and he's decided he doesn't want to play anymore as a result. Yeah. So we're looking for a new heavy, and I believe we don't have an NG anymore either, so we're looking for a new NG as well. But that's it. Once we find those people, we'll be back to wherever we have to play first.
Oh, sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. So there we go. We haven't heard anything from the final 6th team was Super Dickman's Mall Cops, which were the team that finished bottom of the table. And they had 2 seasons in the top tier. They finished 5th in season 12. Season 11, just missing out on the playoffs in the final week, but got relegated. And I'm not sure if they even picked up a win this season. I think it was just some golden cap points. And as far as I know, I don't think the team's sticking together. Clark probably knows more about it than I do.
They are sticking together, and they're starting trials next week. So yeah, they're going to play another season for sure. Probably with a little bit different roster, and they'll definitely need to play preseason playoffs.
Well, there you go. If you fancy yourself to being a potential Prem player, trials for Super Dickman's Mall Cops are underway. So there we go. Those were the 6 teams that finished the Highlander season. And of course, we're just going to talk about now what you guys are all here for, which is, of course, the awards. So there are, in fact, 12 awards. We have all of the different classes from Scout all the way through to Spy. We have Caster of the Season. We have Debut of the Season. That's the player that has played the best in their first ever season in the Premiership tier. And then we have MVP, or Best Players. That's the player that people thought was the best player over the course of the season. So the nominations were done by the Prem teams. Our very own admin Stinson went around and spoke to the team leaders. The team leaders offered in some nominations who they thought were the best players on those classes, and then by a matter of deduction, the players that got the most nominations were the ones put up to vote, which is what you guys saw on the website, and went on to vote for your winners. So no further ado, we're going to start off with, of course, the Scout being the first class, and I'm going to pass you over to Stinson. Stinson, can you tell us who was nominated and who finished where?
It will be my pleasure. Good evening to everybody. I don't think I've said anything yet, but it's my turn now. Nominated for Scout of the Season were May, Funds, and Marosh. I'm not gonna mention team names because you all know, because you all Highlander fans who played on what team. And switching over to the results. In 3rd place, we have Marosh with 28.7%. It was a pretty close vote here. Funds on 2nd with 32%, and winning, I think the 2nd time in a row, is May with 38.5%. Congratulations.
Congrats to May. And no, he didn't win last time. Talash won last time.
Oh, but he did win debut, right?
No, Shaggy won debut, I think.
Okay, fuck me then. Wait, sorry, that's a family friendly stream. Screw me. Is that friendlier? I don't know.
We're going to move on. So we're going to talk about the results. So that is May winning with, what did you say, 38% of the votes. Anyone want to offer in some discussion? Anyone who thinks that's... I'm going to start off with who thinks that's the wrong decision. And I'm expecting Synrise to say something because
No. May voted May. I think May is he played all the games. Funds, I think Funds only played 2 games or 3 games. I don't know. I've talked with Funds about it, and he said that May deserved it as well.
Yeah, I don't think May was particularly the best in statistics, but he was a credit to team. He played all games and he stepped it up in the finals. He had a really good final, I think. So yeah, I think overall, without any bias, he does deserve it. Even though Funds was really great as well.
Yeah, but Funds just didn't play enough games.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
to get even nomination, I believe.
No, he got nominated.
Funds played 2 games in the regular season. I'm just taking a look at my spreadsheet. And he obviously played the semi-final as well. But when we look at kills per minute, the highest was Thalash, then it was Funds, then it was Atomic, then it was Marosh, then it was Mist, and then we have May. So he was down quite low on the kills per minute mark, and he wasn't actually top in any of the stats. But I do feel like his play style, where he just kind of charges in, works out very well. He is a problem to deal with from a playing point of view. So yeah, that makes sense to me, I suppose. Anyone else? Porky?
No, I think May deserved it. He'd always get the picks when his team needed it, so yeah.
Good stuff. So right, we're going to move onto Soldier, which is next. I'm just trying to get my spreadsheet up and just take a look at these stats. Stinson, who was nominated for Soldier?
Hang on, that was too fast. I'm not prepared. Usually people talk for hours. Okay, so due to the third place, that's something I actually wanted to mention. Before this season, we had 8 Prem teams, and the way we handled nominations were we would take the top 3 of the nominations, and if there was a tie for the third place, we would take in 4 players for the poll. But since it's less players and less teams this season, I decided to go with the top 3 nominees, and if the third was tied, I would just go with the top 2. Because it kind of seems redundant to nominate 4 players out of 6 teams, so pretty much everyone gets nominated. This is why.
Can you tell us why Chef wasn't nominated? Because I was pretty confident he would get nominated.
Actually, Raptor and Dima were nominated, and Jackie Legs, Menti, Chef, and DQs each only had 1 vote.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was a pretty clear thing to do. So, yeah. Raptor and Dima were nominated, and the winner is Dima with convincing 63%, actually. Congratulations to Dima.
Congrats. Second time in a row.
Wow. Yeah, deserve, I think.
Yeah, Dima I think is one of the reasons that STCK did better this season. Because last season Dima didn't play a lot of the games, I don't think.
I think Nation played a few games, right?
Yeah, Nation played in the I think he played the 2nd to 5th game of the season. I think he played a lot, but yeah, missing Dima was certainly he certainly hit us in the wrong way, and Sandwich as well. We came back to.
I think of all the players I've played against, soldier-wise, his bombs were the most difficult for me to deal with. Like from a medic point of view, having him right on top of you, he just hits those bombs very, very well. And I played against a lot of soldiers, but he was very efficient with his suicides and his sacrifices just to try and get a force or get a mid pick. So from that point of view, I think like Raptor, I think he plays a very different style. I think he plays much more smart. I think that what's like. I don't think Raptor's DM is like particularly what makes him a good soldier. I think it's his brains. I think Dima's kind of the opposite. Not saying he hasn't got a brain, but I think Dima's DM. Dima's DM is very, very strong.
Did you say not saying he hasn't got a brain, or he has got a brain?
I'm not saying he hasn't got a brain.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, this is so much.
I'm just saying, like they're different. They're very different soldiers. Whereas like Dima just like bombs in, and 9 times out of 10 he's going to get that force, or he's going to get the drop or the pick or whatever. And I think that's, from my point of view, again, I can't really see the flank a lot of the time, but from my point of view, that makes him one of the most annoying soldiers to play against. He's very effective.
Yeah, Dima, like, for us, he doesn't exactly do the most damage or anything like that, but even if you look at the stats, like, he died the least of any soldiers, even though he got the most medics per minute. Like, so his bombs are really efficient. He kills a medic, and then he manages to survive. So, I think that's a sign of a really good soldier, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Chef, you are a soldier.
I am.
How do you feel about your fellow soldiers, and how would you rate yourself compared to them?
Well, when I look at all the Prem Highlander soldiers, there's Dima, and then there's everybody else. So that's just like how I see it, and how everybody else is rated is kind of like, I don't know. I don't really want to be mean to anyone in particular or anything, so I won't go into that. But I don't mind. I don't mind not getting nominated enough. It's fine. Dima won, so that's all that matters.
Fair place. Porky, you're a sniper, aren't you? You're a sniper? Yeah. Do you get bombed by soldiers a lot? Is that a thing? You know?
Occasionally.
Occasionally. Again, who else? I mean, other than, obviously we've got Chef here. He's obviously, the next best. We're going to say that because he's here. But Dima, Raptor, Chef, any other soldiers that stood out for you across the season?
I think Menti had a pretty good season. But apart from that, not really.
But Menti is a weep.
Well, you're not allowed to
Get
nominate
nominated.
weeps. You should put that. You should make that more clear to the team leaders. No
We
weeps to
could
be nominated.
introduce an award like Weep of the Season.
If that's the case, then Emilio couldn't have been nominated because he's the biggest weeb that I know. We're going to move on to the next class, which is Pyro. And yes, Stinson, do you want to take us away with the nominations?
Yeah, sure. The nominees were, I think, the same as last season. Steve from Strong Opinions, Synrise, our very own, and Yahoo.
They weren't this last season. They weren't this last season because Yahoo didn't play last season. I'm just kidding.
Right, but
it's fine.
yeah, Fungus was nominated.
Fungus
I
was
think.
nominated. Yes.
So, in case you were wondering, I'm gonna do this from now on. The Prem teams gave Steve 6 votes, Synrise 4 votes, Yahoo 3 votes, Alba 2 votes, and TK 1 vote. And the public decided that Synrise should take 3rd place with only 16%. Sorry, dude.
Bait.
Yahoo is in 2nd place with 36%, and Steve wins with 47%. Now that, one thing I want to clear up is usually Steve gets 60%, so having only 47%, that's probably the lowest percentage he's ever had. But still, in my opinion, he's still far too good to not be Pyro of the Season every time he plays. So congratulations, Steve.
Congrats to Steve.
Synrise.
Yes.
For a moment there, did you...
Almost. My heart.
Almost.
No,
I think you were... Correct me if I'm wrong, you think you were 2nd last season in the
I
awards?
was 3rd, I think. I think Garden was... Who won last? Yeah,
Fungus
Steve
was
won
2nd.
last year, yeah. I was 3rd. 3rd, I think.
I mean, I have to say you're one of the obviously one of the better Pyros. I mean, is Pyro v Pyro thing? I mean, how can you judge the skill?
No.
Like, are you and Yahoo kind of catching up to Steve? Do you feel, or do you like Stinson said, the percentages are a little bit different? But do you feel that you're catching up a little bit?
I can't say for myself, but I think Yahoo definitely. I think he's better than me, and Steve is better than me. I mean, those two are the best this season. I think if Yahoo played more games this season without the ban, he could definitely deserve to win. And I think it was also an opportunity this season because stat-wise, I don't think Steve performed as dominant as the last seasons.
Yeah,
So-
like in terms of stats, Steve won.
But
like,
stats don't mean a thing. But
Yeah. I'm just looking at them right now just to check out. But yeah, I think Yahoo in the finals he played better than Steve. But overall during the season, I think Steve had a little edge still. But yeah, in the final, if you judge just by the finals, Yahoo was better in the finals, in my opinion.
anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I can say from my point of view, Steve has been just good as well. Just being Steve, having played with him so long, you get used to him. I know from my point of view, not playing with him, not there is a different experience because of what he brings to the table. But I do think this season we had some very good pies. I mean, when you look at the stats are kind of spread out. Steve, has the highest damage. He's the only Pyro to get over 200 DPM across the season, but definitely Synrise and Yahoo had some decent stats themselves when it came to things like kills and assists. And I think one person, I mean, Porky, I want to bring you in on this because Void Trinity, he played 2 games across the season, but he's someone that a lot of people have been talking about, and there's rumors rumbling that he's going to be playing for England in the Nations Cup. I mean, how do you rate him compared to the other top pyros?
He's very good mechanically. He just needs work on his game sense, and I think he'll get right up there with Steve and Yahoo. Shame he had to go on holiday for half the season. And Synrise, of course.
Yeah,
Thank
I think White was really good this season, and isn't it his like Prem debut as well?
Yeah,
I think
it was.
Right. Yeah, I think he played really well.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the stats, he actually had the second highest kills per minute across the season, and it's kind of hard. It's such a short season. He only played 2 games, so some of the stats do get a bit skewed. We see Yahoo actually had the highest kills per minute, but he only had 3 games compared to most of them having 5. So it kind of like it's hard to gauge it in that short space of time. But it is something to say, the fact that Void Trinity was the second highest kills per minute, and he had second highest damage per minute as well behind Steve. He was at 187, so he had some pretty impressive stats as well. And I think Alba, he played quite a passive pyro. Like he didn't die very much. He spy checked a lot. I've had a lot of spies say that he was quite frustrating to play against. So that's another player who I think that was his debut as well. So yeah, and then the last person we haven't talked about is TK, who played for Toucans. Chef, I mean, he's another player. He's on the England roster. I'm not sure if he's going to be playing Pyro or maybe NG or something like that. But how much do you rate TK as a Pyro? Was he an adequate replacement for V-Clocks after he moved to the different game we don't talk about?
Other game. TK is a really nice person.
That's all you have to say. He's a really nice person.
Yep.
Right on.
He's pretty
Okay,
good
well,
pyro as well.
Okay, let's move on then.
We'll move on. So the next class is the Demo Man. Stinson, take us away.
Demo Man nominated were Spatty, Shaggy, and Joe N. Let's see. Spatty got 5 votes from the Prem teams. Shaggy and Joe 4 each. Other demo men being nominated were Ali with 1, Sinok with 1, and Adam Racecar with 1. So that was easy to nominate as well for me. And the results: Joe came in 3rd place with 17%. And my favorite demo man of all time, Spelly, wins with 47.6. Shaggy goes 2nd with 35%. Congratulations, Spelly.
Congrats, Felly. I think it's deserved completely. Even though I'm biased, I know, but last season he wasn't even nominated. And this season he was dominant. He played all games and he put out a lot of damage in them, and he was amazing in the final as well. So, in my opinion, it's totally deserved.
Yeah, I think Spelly had a really good season. Did a lot of damage. I think really important for his team. And I think Joe should have maybe 1 second. He also does a lot for his team as well.
Yeah, he does.
And Shaggy, I mean, it's good, but I think Toucans in general had a not so good of a season as last season. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say this with the greatest respect to both teams, but I feel that Shaggy and Joe are very much the centerpieces of their team in that they do a lot of the work. I feel that Spelly had an insane season. He did very, very well, and the stats show it. And obviously, winning is a bit of evidence for being good on your team as well. But I feel that Joe and Shaggy, I think, if you take them as individuals, I think perhaps they're as an individual player, perhaps it's quite hard to judge them, considering they're on teams that weren't as high up in the table. I think it'd be interesting if we had some way to kind of have games where Joe and Shaggy and Spelly played on like the same rosters to see who would perform better in the same circumstances. But I mean, Chef, how would you kind of rate Shaggy's performance compared to last season, where he won 2 awards, didn't he? MVP and debut.
Yeah, he just stole all the awards last season, so it was no fun. But this season, he's been playing too much Minecraft, so he's not been very good. and he's not been practicing, so that's a bit unfortunate. But he still does a lot of damage every game and likes to peek sniper sight lines and die a lot. But we all love him, really.
And Joe, Porky, how's it like playing with Joe? Does he carry with his main calls?
Yeah, he does. To be fair, he was a very big player for Vela. Like, without him, he probably wouldn't have stayed in Prem. He does all the damage and all the shouts, so...
It's quite an experience.
Yes, it's a very unique experience.
Everybody should try it in Highlander, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to give a shout out to Adam Racecar. I felt that, considering he joined in quite late at the season, he performed pretty well in the games that he played, although it was only, 3 games, I think. It was the 2 playoff games and 1 of the regular season games, so perhaps didn't get as much attention. I'm surprised he only got 1 nomination, but I thought he did pretty well. Having played with him, he kind of settled in quite quickly, and it's quite difficult for a team as established as us for someone to step in and try to fit to our playing style. But we had quite a lot of decent demos this season, I feel. I mean, Sinok as well had a very good season stats wise. I mean, for the most of the season, he was actually up there nearly top damaging. Joe top damage with 538 a minute, but Sinok was actually quite high up until the latter stages. Is there anyone else you guys feel like? I mean, we have people like Deox and Atomic playing demo as well this season who you wouldn't normally see. Are there any other demos other than the top 3 that you think?
I thought Adam couldn't be nominated because he only played 1 regular game season. That's why we didn't nominate him from SDCK. If he played more, we probably would, but that's the reason we didn't nominate him at least. So
no, he wouldn't probably have gone through. So
yeah, same with Ali. He only played 1 game, didn't he?
Ali played 2.
Ali played 2. Okay, so Ali could get nominated then.
Yeah, I had the same reasoning.
Yeah, I'm just reading what people told me. I didn't. I fact checked the first 3, but I didn't fact check the other guys because it couldn't be ours. So yeah, it can be that people who didn't get nominated because they didn't get enough votes that they weren't even eligible to begin with.
Yeah, I'm just looking right now. Adam only had 1 game. He played less than 30 minutes during the regular season, even though his stats were really good.
To be fair though, if you only play 1 game in the regular season, you don't really deserve to be like the best demo man of the season, even though you did play playoffs. But I don't know, like the season is more than just playoffs. That's why I went with that policy.
Okay, and the next class we have on the list is, of course, the heavy weapons guy. Stinson, who was nominated?
Nominated were only Sandwich, or Sandwich, as we know him, the old school guys, and Emilio Estevez. And
hashtag don't vote for Emilio.
Emilio got 5 nominations, Sandwich 6 nominations, and we had 4 other heavies, each receiving 1. And those heavy were Carl, Samparoni, Deox, and Kultu. My boy. Switch over to the results. Heavy of the season with 61.6% is Sandwich from STCK.
Congrats, Sandwich.
Sorry, Emilio.
Well deserved.
Yep.
Really?
Yes. It's
Hello, heavy mates.
John is now...
What? What's happening?
I'm talking to him. He says it's fixed, so
Okay.
Okay,
yeah,
so
it works again.
should we say who won again then?
The winner
Did
is
you guys-
Synrise! Yay!
Wait, did you guys hear that or not? Stream chat, did you hear
Just-
who is heavy of the season? Let me know.
I don't think they did, judging by the chat.
I don't think they did. Yeah, I don't think they did.
I'm gonna wait for the response though. No.
So I didn't
Okay.
hear it. I didn't hear it. So should we do the same thing again?
Okay. Right. Let me check. I already closed this. Hang
Oh,
on.
they saw it. They saw it. Look, they heard it. They heard that Sandwich won.
Okay, so Sandwich won with 62%. Okay. Congratulations, Sandwich.
Best segment.
Emilio
San-
just doesn't deserve.
Sandwich
We talked
wants
about
to-
it 5 minutes, but you
Sandwich
didn't hear
wants to know, did he win twice? Does that count as 2 awards, seeing as you said it twice?
Yes, that definitely counts as 2 words.
it. I rule no.
Was it John's mistake that microphones get muted?
He just says that was odd. I don't think he knows what's going on. But let's
That
just
was
move on.
odd.
Then.
Moving on.
Who even understands technology? It's fine. But we'll move on to engineer. Engineers? Yeah, engineer is the next one. Engineer is the next one. And, yeah, Stinson. Who won engineer?
Nominated for engineer, first of all, were Clark, who's guest on our show tonight, Sek, and Seal from Strong Opinions. Should be better prepared. Right, so Sek got 5 nominations from the Prem team, as well as Clark. Seal got 3 nominations, Ehor 2 nominations, and D-Toad, or D-Toad? I don't know, some Russian guy, 1 nomination. And engineer of the season, Sek got 3rd place with 70 votes, which translates to 24% of the votes. Seal got 2nd with 26% of the votes, and Clark won with 53% of the votes. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. I think Zach deserved better, to be fair. Did he get 3rd, you said?
Yeah, 3rd.
Yeah, I think he had a really good season for a Prem debut. I think he deserved 2nd in my opinion, even though Seal had a good season as well. But yeah,
Yep.
thank you very much.
So, Clark, how many people did you ask to vote for you?
400 people. Look at my friend list. Everyone. I spammed everyone except instead of preparing for my bachelor thesis.
How many did you do at like a minute, roughly?
Hold
One
on.
thing,
We should
I
put it
wanted
into
to
stats.
know-
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to know is that I'm sorry, CeeJaey, for cutting off, but I was really curious about Sek because I didn't really follow the season at all. I'm gonna be dead honest, and I didn't hear the name Sek before I read the nominations. And apparently, you guys who actually played in the season thought he was doing really well. So what did Sek do so well that he stands out as an engineer?
He also
Played
worked for
engineer.
Strong
He had,
Opinions, right? For in the playoffs? In the finals for
he had
UTC?
he had great stats. Like I noticed that he survived a lot. Honestly, like that was what I saw, that he survived a lot.
Yeah, Sek murked for us in the UGC finals. And I don't know, other than having an amazing voice in Mumble, like you have to experience it to
His voice is so good.
It is. I would have him on my team just for the voice, but I'm like stats wise he played pretty well. Like you picked up some decent kind of frags, like kills per minute in games. His stats were pretty decent all the way through the season. And he played kind of, considering previous NGs like Doom and Cherry and It's Mint, like players that have been around for a long time and are kind of considered top class NG mains. I think Sek kind of stepped into that absence and there's Sean is kind of a very aggressive engineer that does pretty well on the flank and picks up frags.
It was just interesting to me because I don't know, I've never watched a game or played a game or rarely played a game where I thought, man, this engineer, like if I played against an engineer, this engineer really tore up my butt. So I was curious why people would think that Sek, who came out of nothing, for me at least, was doing so well.
Well, I mean, I think we established that stats for NGs don't matter, but even if you look at the stats, he played for the team that was 5th in the season, and he had amazing stats. I think he had the 2nd best stats, maybe next to me, and that's it. So I think he deserved better than 3rd, at least.
Could I say a little bit?
Go for it.
Zach, please come back. Thank you.
Oh.
Is he not playing with you guys anymore? Is he-
I don't know what happened really, because like it happened after the last official, and I don't know. I came back after like finding out that we'd lost and everything, and then he wasn't on the roster, so I was like, oh, like he's been kicked off, and I don't know. I didn't get a decent enough explanation from anyone on the team as to why he got kicked, so it's really odd. But yeah,
Oh, okay. So
I'd like him to play again, please.
Please, that's a public forum, a public like reaching out to Sek. Sek, if you're watching, Chef wants you back. He's sorry for everything or anything that happened, but don't leave him.
Maybe if you sing a song, Chef. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think we want to hear
I
that.
can't sing.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So we'll move on to the next class, shall we? Which is, of course, Medic, the healing man. So, Stinson, do you want to take us away with the 3 players who were nominated for Medic?
Right, nominated for Medic were CeeJaey, Spare, and Layla, which surprised me, but she did improve. Like, I'm not trash talking at all. Like, I just thought other people would be more on top of the tables. And Spare got 5 nominations, CeeJaey 4, Layla 3. And honorable mentions here are Fragmented with 1, Overlooked again, Kufa with 1, and Anir with 1, who got nominated last season, I think. So yeah, the nominations to me were surprising. And to the results. CeeJaey, are you nervous yet?
Nope.
Right, Layla is gonna be in 3rd place with 25% of the votes. CeeJaey is 2nd with 31%, and Spare takes home the trophy with 43% of all votes. Congratulations.
Congrats, Fryer.
Yeah. His team won.
Yep.
I don't know. Anybody else? I mean,
Highlander Medic's pretty hard.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I do have to say, I think Layla has improved a lot.
Yeah,
To be
that's what I'm
fair,
saying.
if you look
Like,
at
I was-
Layla's-
I was
she deserved a
genuine
3rd
there.
spot.
She did
Yeah, I do.
improve.
If you look at Layla's stats, like the meme has always been Layla drops, haha. She only dropped twice all season.
Yeah, I
She
know.
had the lowest drops per minute of any Medic who played. And she had the 2nd highest Ubers per drop. She had 42.5, which was only behind Sprayer, who had 43.5 Ubers per drop.
impressive.
So she had very, very decent stats around the board. I mean, her deaths were fairly high compared to other medics, but
That's
you
just the
know-
style they play sometimes. Just
Yeah,
go in
I mean,
and
it's hard to kind of talk about medic stats, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, but I mean, across the board, some fairly decent stats. So it's not too much of it's not a meme. I think she did play pretty well this season.
Yeah, she did.
yeah, definitely.
She always let us know when the spy was on her, which was very good. We definitely heard her.
See,
Who
are you
else?
disappointed?
Oh, I won last season. I don't need to win anymore. Once you've won it all, Stinson, anything extra is just there's no more room on the shelf, my friend. No more room
Alright.
on the shelf.
So
So
now-
I'm
so
trying
now
to think
that
of.
you're- Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other medics. So Fragmented, not nominated for the 2nd season in a row. I mean, Synrise, you play with him. Do you feel like, from that point of view, do you feel he should be within the top 3 there?
I don't know. He didn't make all the games, I think, but I don't know. We had a bad season. The Fragmented was. He told me as well. He was never paying attention. Really made stupid mistakes. There wasn't really synergy in our combo, so he as well didn't think he deserved a spot. But he's a fun guy to hang out, and also has a great Scottish voice, so can recommend.
Good stuff. And the other medic I was going to mention was Kufal, who actually had some decent stats, sort of during the season. There, Chef, was he kind of an adequate replacement? Your medic last season was Mars. Obviously, he started playing heavy for Failer. How did you feel playing with Kufal?
I don't want to just say Kufal is a nice person, because that would be mean. But Kufal,
He is a nice person, though. Like, to be fair.
yeah, he is. I'm not just going to say that, but that is included in the package.
Nice team.
It's been really fun playing with him on Medic, yeah, because like I guess what we've been missing from our team, like even from the start, is just like a medic that is pretty vocal at like the to do with like things that we've always missed. So like spy awareness and like Uber advantage and stuff like that. Like sometimes with the past medics, we haven't really had that kind of information 100% of the time, but Kufal's always managed to stay on top and give us all the information we need in order to sort out our pushes and such.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, it was. I'd say at the start of the season, he actually had some of the better stats within the first couple of weeks. And then sort of things started leveling out between the medics towards the end of the season. But moving on to the next class, which is, of course, the Headshot Man. We have a sniper here. He can give pretty good insight, I'm sure. Stinson, do you want to tell us who were the nominees for Sniper?
Yes, once again, we only had 2 nominees. Burn from SCCK and my boy Cloudy from Strong Opinions. Burn received 5 nominations from the Prem teams, Cloudy 4. And the reason why there were only 2 people in this vote were because I'm sure some of you wondered where Tracker is. Tracker got 2 nominations as well as Nate and Jelly. And I figured nominating 5 people out of 6 teams is kind of redundant, so I chose to go with Burn and Cloudy here. And Porky got 1 nomination in the Sniper of the Season award. And results: Cloudy goes second with 31%, and Burn takes home the trophy with 68% of all votes. Congratulations.
Congrats, Burn.
I think Cloudy's a better sniper. Boom! I said it.
Yeah, but that's not the award, though.
On the level, I honestly think Cloudy across the season was a better sniper. But I think the reason Burn's stats were so much better and he was so much more effective across the season was the way that SCCK played around him. Like they protected him extremely well and they got him into good positions very, very well, which was, you know, one of their big boons for the final. So, you know, from my like personal point of view, I think mechanically best sniper of the season was Cloudy. I mean, when you look at the stats, their stats are pretty similar. Like Burn's got slightly higher kills, Cloudy's got slightly better deaths. Burn has slightly better damage. Cloudy has slightly better, you know, it goes back and forth. They're pretty level. So I don't think, like, you know, in Sniper v Sniper, Cloudy had the best across the season. But I just think SCCK played very well around Burn. So they were able to utilize him to his full potential.
I agree with you that stats-wise they're very similar. But then again, it comes down to the last game, to the decider game, and in that deciding game where people actually wanted to see who was the better sniper in that last deciding game was Burn, and by a long shot, in my opinion, even though I do agree with you that Cloudy did have a good season. So I think in that sense, I think Burn does deserve it.
Yeah, I think that Cloudy shouldn't win Sniper of the Season because he's actually Asian, and this is ETF2L, you know, the European team Fortress 2 League, so Asians can't win. Sorry, Cloudy.
Porky, which sniper do you hate playing against the most?
Cloudy. Burn had a really good final, so I think he deserves it this season.
And what about Tracker? I mean, how do you feel playing against him and Synrise like as well? How do you feel about Tracker not even being nominated enough to be in for the votes?
Tracker is a god. I think he's the best sniper, period. But it didn't play enough. Same for all the players of chess, just didn't play enough to warrant a nomination. But he's an amazing sniper, and yeah, he can just pull out the craziest headshot. He's a really flashy player. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Definitely.
I was surprised Tracker didn't get more nominations from teams. That was probably my only like big surprise when I saw the nominations.
Well, when you kind of judge like periods of Highlander. Like in the start, the early seasons, it was very much Tavik who was the #1 sniper, and then towards sort of season 4 or 5, you had Flippy for Daratutu definitely being sort of the best around in Highlander, and then later on you have Framello who just dominated everybody else. I think sort of season 8 Framello was, his stats are still kind of the best any stats anyone's ever had, just pure kind of kills per minute and stuff like that. And I think since Framello's disappeared, I think Tracker stepped into that fold as being the big sniper that everyone fears. So I mean, this season maybe finishing third, and we'll have a look how many games he played. Actually, he played 3 games, so maybe wasn't kind of on screen as much as the other snipers. But I do think he is the beast from the east to be feared.
Definitely.
Just put him on SDCK and he destroys. or on strong opinions. I mean, on any team with cohesion.
Okay, and we're on to the final class now, guys. We're on to the final class, which is, of course, the Spy. So, Stinson, do you want to tell us who won Spy of the season?
I'm going to tell you first who was nominated for Spy of the season, if that's okay. It was Toast, Trooper, and the Man with No Ears. And there were 6 nominations for Toast, 5 for the Man, 4 for Trooper, and only 1 for Nightmare. So this was an easy one for me, at least. You guys chose that Trooper should be 3rd on this list with 13%. Pretty low percentage of votes here. I think it's the lowest of any. I've not seen him play, so I don't know. And Toast got in 2nd with 36%, and the Man with No Ears takes it home with 50% of all votes.
Well done.
For me, it was surprising because I always only see Toast win. So,
well, Toast is clearly better. So,
why is the Man better than Toast?
He's not. You look at the stats. You look at the effect Toast has on games. He's the best. But if you win the final, you win the hearts and minds of the viewers. So that's probably why the Man's won.
The Man also destroyed the Americans.
Oh yeah, he did. Yes. I think a lot of Americans voted for him.
Yeah, they're 2 amazing spies, and then people will vote for the spy that won, I guess. But I think, especially in the final, I think the Man was very impactful. So I think he deserved it this season, at least. Porky, Chef, do you have an opinion?
Well, it's just Spy, isn't it? It's like you just shoot people with a gun and like you get headshots and you make people salty and it's all good.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the class in a nutshell. I don't know that like there's some like outstanding people like Toast and Z-Man, and like I guess if you want to like count people not just going headshot mode all the time, then you've got like Chupa and Elazul as well. But like I don't know, it's the class is like you go Ambi or you don't do as much now. Yeah, it's everyone that played Spy this season did really well though. Yeah, I can't really decide because I don't know enough about good spies and bad spies.
Well, I mean, you talk about the shooting. I think we have to give a shout out to Chupa because back in season 9 when he was on Phaler, I think he got 3rd then as well. But again, like he's come back this season. He's one of the few players. When you look at the names, like you got Zaman, Nightmare, Woolen, Toast, like all of them play that Ambi Dead Ringer kind of behind shooting heads kind of style. But Chupa doesn't. He goes for the cloaks and he gets a lot of frags and he gets a lot of med picks doing it. He got more med picks than any other spy. And his ratio was like the best. Like he was slightly ahead of Toast on med picks per minute. But he got 23 med picks over the course of the season. And that's mostly from cloaking and going in. So I think he's one of the last remaining cloak and stab spies when you consider, players like Grenjabob aren't playing anymore, and Kazul, he's always been the kind of harassing spy from behind. So Chupa's, one of the last of his kind, I feel.
Yeah, I think it's like the best thing to watch. The most satisfying thing is a backstab drop. That's so cool to see. Better than a headshot drop. from a spy.
Chuper was the most annoying player on the field this season. I feel like he was really a struggle for a combo. Like even against Toast, we didn't struggle as much. Like our combo didn't struggle as much as we did against Chuper.
Yeah, he's
Toast-
definitely one of the best backstabbing spies around.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's got to the point now where like spies just do so much like headshotting from the front lines and not necessarily from the back lines that like people just forget that the spy can just go invisible and insta kill you from behind, and like so instances where like you would normally, you know, be like spy checking and stuff like that, like teams just aren't spy checking because they think that the spy is just going to be trying to headshot people instead, and people like Chupa abuse that and get the better of other teams from it.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of when you see how Gunspy was back in the day, it was only really Inso and Solid who did it, sort of season 5, 6 era, and then when Solid stopped playing after that, it was pretty much just. And Inso, moved over to Sniper. There was a bit of a void, and now it seems like there's an influx of people doing it. So it's the in thing to do that now. I'm just wondering whether there are any spies who actually kind of start playing the game, whether they go for that cloak style anymore. They just think it's more effective. Just go straight for the ambient and go for that style instead. But enough about spies. We're going to move on to the only non-playing role, non-playing award, and that is Caster of the Season. So Stinson, take us away.
Yes. I'm here.
Stinson Awards. Hello, wake up.
Nominated for the cast of the season because John told me so. Actually, not. I decided. CeeJaey, Sigafu, and Hearts Farts. And I'm telling you now, I was pleasantly surprised by the results. It was a really close vote. And Sigafu came in third place with 30% of the votes. CeeJaey won caster of the season with 37% of the votes, and Heartsford got second, which is this is huge for me. Like I'm so happy. I'm so happy about that. We got 32% of all votes. So yeah, shout out to everyone who voted for Hearts, and congratulations to CeeJaey.
Congratulations, CeeJaey. Well done.
Good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to. Yeah, Hearts robbed.
Yep.
I know Hearts. I really like Hearts' casting, and I really like that it's someone new this season rather than the same old faces. I just wish we'd had more casts this season. I would have loved to have actually casted with Hearts over some point over the season. So hopefully next season we can get together. Or maybe Nations Cup. We got Nations coming up. But yeah, no, definite big shout out to Hearts and everyone else who's put in. There's been some new faces casting this season, so that's pretty cool.
Now I think Hearts put in the most effort. Like it's really hard for a caster to get in. I'm not saying Hearts is like the best caster I've ever heard in my life, but he was really keen. He showed up to every cast when he was needed, and he tried to improve. He actually asked at least me or people on Steam rather what he can improve. So I always think that you should in the end award the best caster of the season with the award, but it's okay to nominate people who actually put in effort and cared about casting. So it's just my 2 cents though.
Yeah, I mean, and I hope Nations Cup maybe we can get some more people in, because I started doing my casting back in 2014, I think it was, in the Nations Cup. High GPS was like, yeah, you can cast, and I was like, oh, okay. Hopefully we can get more people doing it, and hopefully by the time we get to season 13, we'll have people with a bit more experience we can jump in, because I know there's a lot of people want to do that. But we're gonna stop talking about casters because that's boring. We want to talk about the players. We're on to two of the non-class specific awards. So we're going to start off with debut of the season. So like I said at the start of the show, debut of the season is the player who did the best in their first season of Prem. So if you played Prem before, even Merking, anything like that, doesn't matter. You have to have played Prem for the first time this season. Stinson, who was nominated for debut of the season?
Nominated for debut of the season were Sek, Porky, and Alba. Porky got 4 nominations, Sek 3, Alba 2, and Carl from the US guy 1 nomination. I reckon this is a really low number of nominations. I reckon a lot of people either didn't care or didn't know about this or how it works, but I'm willing to take this on my to-do list to clarify who is eligible for debut of the season. But in the end, we have, let me check, in third place with 22% of the votes, and Porky in second place with 36% of the votes, and Alba winning with 41%. Congratulations to Alba. I have no idea what class he's playing.
He's a pyro.
He's a pyro.
He's a pyro. Okay,
Pyro
I've never
for
seen him
juniors.
play in my life, but
from Malcolm.
he is the best debutant in season 12 of Highlander.
So sorry, what was the percentage for first and second again?
Porky 36 and Alba 41%.
Congrats.
Quite close.
How much you can you repeat that?
No.
You don't have to rub it in.
Just
though,
one
come
more
on.
time, come on. Do it for the stream.
Okay, Porky, it was really close. Okay, you
Yeah.
almost got an award. This is
Thanks.
you know, I don't want to talk down on you, but this is probably the only time you're ever gonna get nominated for an award. This was your chance, but it was really close. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to jump to the defense of Porky here. Sorry, Proky. When we look at the sniper stats, Porky was best in none of the stats. However, when we look at sniper versus sniper, okay, I mentioned earlier that Cloudy was best. He won 3 out of his 4 sniper duels. But there were 2 other snipers who actually also won 3 duels. They just played a game more, so they won 3 out of 5. One of them was Jelly, and the other one was Porky. So when it came to sniper v sniper, Porky was up there with, as one of the best. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he might have won against Tracker in his official. I'm not sure. But you played against him on Steel, which is not exactly the best sniper map, but he did really, really well for Chess Club in the semi-final when he came into Merc halfway through. So I have to give him kudos for that. I think he did pretty well there. But I honestly think all 3 of those players, I had no idea which way this award was going to go. I think all of them could have done pretty well. I mean, we'll come to Chef. I mean, we'll talk about Sack again. I mean, did you feel he deserved this award?
I voted for him, and I don't normally like voting for people on my own team, but I felt he really deserved it. But it was really hard to choose between Sack and Porky, because Porky is a veteran toucan, and us toucan brothers stick together. So
Yeah, man.
I always vote for Porky in stuff like this, but yeah, they're both pretty good for Prem debut. Definitely a lot higher than a lot of the other debuts that we've had previous seasons.
It's really weird for me that Sack didn't win, if I'm being completely honest. Maybe because it's an NG class, I don't know, but I think he did have the best Prem debut out of all the nominees, even though I think Alba and Porky did well as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Alba. Does anyone got anything to say on him? As he is the winner, we should probably talk about him a little bit.
He played Pyro.
I think he played really well for Malkops.
He did
he
a
was
good job.
one of the best players on their team.
He has a very good shotgun aim. He didn't die much, but overall I think he didn't make as much impact as Sack did, in my opinion.
Okay, so we'll move on to the final, the biggie, the El Grande, the final award, which is, I'm not sure what it's called. Is it MVP or is it Best Player? Because it keeps changing season on season. Stinson, tell us who was nominated.
Officially, it's Best Player of the Season. I always call it MVP though, because it's much shorter and much more. It's much easier to remember. Though I guess it's 2 different things when you look at it, because Best Player can be just the player that out DMs everybody, and the MVP can be someone who is the most valuable player for his team. So I should probably stop doing that. But never mind my indiscretions. We had The Man, Dima, and Sandwich nominated for Best Player of the Season, all from SDCK. We had Cloudy with 1 nomination, Toast with nomination, Burn with nomination, Joe 1 nomination, Sandwich, The Man, and Dima each with 3 nominations, in case you're wondering. And Best Player of the Season award goes to Not Sandwich, who is third in 20%. And this is a really close vote. Okay, I just want to point that out that the winner got 125 votes, and the second place got 122 votes. So winning by only 1% is Dima, who is retiring. So that's pretty cool, you know. Best Player of the Season, Dima. Congratulations. 41% of the votes.
Russ Dima.
Well deserved.
Yeah, I agree. I think like when you look at them, the three people who are nominated, you got like a pick class, you've got a flank class, and you got a combo class. I think Sandwich was like a big reason why SCCK won this season. So I can see why he was nominated. And obviously he's a man getting like huge frags and huge picks and stuff like that. But I think Dima's effect, like I was talking about earlier when he went Soldier, I think his effect on the flank and his kind of his impact on the game, I would opt for Dima. So I think that's a well deserved one. I mean, we need people to say who they voted for. Because if the vote was this close, we need to know.
I voted for Sandwich. I don't know, because what you said, he had so much impact on damage-wise. I voted for him.
I don't think I actually voted for anyone, because I didn't want to choose between my own
you did. You just
teammates.
didn't want to admit it.
I did. Can you tell me who I voted for then?
I also expected a Spelly nomination, actually. To be
I
honest.
voted for Dima because Dima is best.
Yeah, I voted for Dima too.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think I voted for Dima too.
Well, I voted for the second one, the man, because I thought I didn't see him play, but I don't like anybody else in my life, so I voted for him. I think I played with the man in season 11 UGC in Steel, and I remember that, so I voted for him. That's my reasoning.
At least we know that Clark likes Dima more than the other two people on his team.
See, you made a big issue here, Clark, because you voted. You say you voted for the player who's leaving. So now the two players that are staying, oh, it's going to be awkward mumble.
Oh, drama already.
Maybe they'll have to
really
leave to get your attention.
Sorry,
so
guys.
official attempt to disband the champions.
I think Tukens is looking for a heavy, right?
And
Yeah.
an engineer.
Oh no, actually, Sandwich is in chat right now saying Clark's the one getting cut. So Super Dickmans are looking for
Tukens
an
looking for an
engineer.
engineer.
Hey, I heard Sek is looking for a new team. Maybe they should get him.
You're trying to
Oh.
replace yourself.
I don't want
Yeah.
Do you
Clark though.
understand what's happening? Okay, guys, we're just going to recap on who won at the different awards. So starting off with the class awards, over on Scout we had May, on Soldier we had Dima, Pyro was Steve, Demo was Spelly, Heavy was Sandwich, Engineer was Clark, Medic was Sprayer, Sniper was Burn, and Spy was Zeman. Caster of the season was CeeJaey. Debut of the season was
Alba.
Alba.
Oh,
Forgot for a second there. And MVP, best player of the season, went also to Dima. So there we go.
Team of the season, Super Dickman. Plus Steve.
I don't think that's going to be a very good team name heading into season 19.
Well, better than the one they have at the moment, so.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to talk about. If anyone else has anything to bring up, just want to remind that we do have the Highlander Nations Cup, which officially starts, I think, on Sunday. I think is the first possible scheduling day. So we do have a number of teams playing. We do have an invite group a high seed group where we have Germany, Sweden, England, and Denmark all playing in the same group. They automatically qualify for the playoffs, but we'll see some intense games, I'm sure, to decide the seedings, whereas everyone else has to fight for those top two spaces in the groups to try and get to the knockout stage. So that's coming up, so keep an eye out on Blackout Gaming TV for some casted games in the future. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, Stinson? You're the admin, you're the big chief. Is there anything you wanted to round off with?
Yeah, sure. I first of all want to thank every league admin or head admin who was actually actively involved in this Highlander season, because I wasn't as much. So thank you, especially shout out to Moist, to Ayoshi, and to everybody else. You did a great job organizing and administrating this season. And shout out to anybody who watches the stream. Shout out to anybody who contributes to competitive TF2. And I love you guys, and I'm always psyched to be with you here in this kind of a watch show thing. So thank you, everybody.
That's a very nice message to give out to the community. Yes, and there has been rumblings. I'm going to say this very, very tentatively, so nobody get too excited. But as TF2 is yet to be absolutely confirmed for I61, I do know there is a large portion of the TF2 community going, and I think even if there isn't an official multiplayer tournament going on, there will be something organised for 6v6. So we will have a big community tournament there, but there has been some talk on the ETF2L forums about maybe doing some sort of Highlander thing. If people organize it, it could happen. It's not confirmed. It's not even been planned. But the last time something like this happened was I52. There was a mini Highlander tournament for teams to participate in. So maybe keep your ear to the ground and see if that's going to be happening. But like I said, we have Nations Cup coming up, and Season 13 will be on the horizon. But I'm going to move over to the shout-outs. We're going to go in alphabetical order. So, Chef, other than saying people are nice guys, is there anyone you want to shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to Demato because he was the first one to put the Chef Frank emote when I asked people for shout outs. And also shout out to Shaggy because he's probably the person I've known the most out of this, the longest for this community. So we're pretty big friends. Yeah.
Good stuff. And Clark, anyone you want to shout out to?
Just my team and people who voted for us.
Good stuff. I'm not going to come to John. John never does shout outs, and he screwed up cameras, and he screwed up and he muted us.
That's my bad.
No, it's not. No, he screwed up the muting as well, Synrise. He couldn't even hear us when we were talking about heavies. And everyone wants to hear about heavies. So we're going to move down to Porky, Proky, Proxy, whatever your name is. Anyone you want to shout out to, man?
Shout out to Fayla, shout out to Dreamy, and Koff and Cloudy.
Good stuff. We'll go to Synrise next, as you are a player. Anyone you want to shout out to?
Shout out to Chess Club, shout out to IXO, and shout out to Team Belgium. We're gonna win. Easy.
Ooh.
Bring it on, CeeJaey. Hombre.
Mate, yeah, no, we may have 9 players to play on our team, so yeah, you better watch out. Stinson, I'm going to come to you last for the closing statements. I'm just going to give a shout out to my team, Strong Opinions. Thank you for a nice season. Congratulations to SCCK, and thank you all guys for coming in for this talk show, and everyone who's watching. And we'll see you for the Nations Cup, and we'll see you for Season 13. Stinson, can you give us your biggest admin closing statement?
Sure. Yeah, so thank you for watching, everybody. Like CeeJaey said, I don't know what I'm supposed to say here, but you're supposed to follow ETF2L on Twitter, twitter.com/ETF2L. Facebook we have as well, facebook.com/ETF2L. We have a Discord in case you didn't know. The link is in every news post you ever heard and saw. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll see you guys in the Nations Cup. Have a good evening.